Hello stars, this is Gwendolyn. Welcome back to the channel. This video is a new moon video for our new moon in Taurus this Friday, May 6th, and it's happening at 1:29 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. And an interesting thing that's going on this week and right now is that we have 5 planets in retrograde. So there's a lot of going backwards movement, going within. Whenever planets are in retrograde, think of all the words. A good symbol is those first 2 letters of retrograde, which is re, R-E. So it means to relax, reassess, revamp, reevaluate, all the things about going backwards and re-looking at things that we want to change. So it's a time, especially with Mars in retrograde, it's a time when we might need to stop with action. Things may feel like they're coming through. I'm thinking of that Pink Floyd song, they're coming through in waves, or things are just stopping. Things feel like they're going through molasses and going, slowly. So in times of retrograde, it's a time to look within. And this is actually a wonderful opportunity for us to change something fundamental about ourselves. So I'll talk a little bit more about that after the video, but I just want to go through each of the signs and what the new moon means, and then I'll talk a little bit more about what this retrograde time means with 5 planets in retrograde. It only happens 4% of the time. It's very rare. So it's a real opportunity to slow down and reevaluate some things. So yeah, I'm just going to go straight into the new moon videos, and I'll put tags of the timestamps for each sign below so you can just jump to your sign if you're interested in that. Okay, so here are the meanings for the new moon for each sign. So for Taurus, happy birthday Taurus, this is your birthday month. For Taurus, this new moon is happening in your first house of identity. So a lot of you Tauruses may be experiencing a sort of who am I moment with all this retrograde motion, and with your solar return for the year. It could be this is a real opportunity to see a new you emerge, or if you've been wanting to start something new, to plan something new, because it's in your first house of identity and self. It's a real opportunity in this new moon to consider what it is that you think you should do versus what you're inspired to do. The Sabian symbol for 17 degrees Taurus is a symbolic battle between swords and torches. So what that means is swords represent the mental element and torches represent the fire element. So swords represent the mind, and torches represent the vital spark, the vitality, passion, drive, inspiration, enthusiasm, all of that. So there's a real question right now for you, Taurus, between what is your mind saying that you should do versus what is your inspiration saying for you to do, your passion, what lights you up, what gives you fire. And that's a real question for Taurus right now, and I want you to consider that while we're in this new moon, which is about setting intentions, planting new seeds, starting new things. We might be able to see a new you develop over the next 6 months until we get the full moon in Taurus. And so over this next 6 months, beginning now, because new moons are a good time for initiating new things, I want you to focus on what is the new you, what is the new self that you want to give birth to or have arise and have grow and emerge over the next 6 months, Taurus. It's an exciting time for a new you, new self, and there's really a lot of opportunity for introspection here and re-changing something fundamental about yourself that you would like to adjust. Because of all this retrograde motion, it's allowing us to slow down and look within. So it's a wonderful time to sort of reprogram yourself or give yourself a new blueprint, a new a new self, a new identity. It's really an opportunity for that to emerge, Taurus. So I encourage you to look within and project forth who the new you, your new identity is going to be over the next 6 months. For Gemini, this new moon is happening in your 12th house, which is the house of the subconscious, the house of, or even the unconscious, the house of dreams, of fantasy, of things that are unifying you to the rest of the world. So Gemini, I want you to consider that this is a time where you can really start to connect with your dreams, to start a new chapter, or a new connection to the divine. Some of you may actually have a new spiritual awakening. With all these planets in retrograde, the 5 planets that are currently in retrograde, there may be an opportunity for you, Gemini, to look within and change something fundamental about yourself regarding your spirituality, your connection to the universe, because that's what 12th house is about. It might be even a time to review some old baggage that you want to let go of, or some old beliefs. Is actually, because the 12th house rules belief and what we believe in, I'm going to say, Gemini, it's an opportunity for you to cast off, to look within and see what beliefs, review what beliefs are kind of outdated for you, that feel like old clothes that don't fit. Like maybe you developed them in childhood, certain beliefs. And this new moon in Taurus, in your 12th house, can be a time for you to develop some new beliefs that you may grow and have this experience over the next 6 months until the full moon in Gemini. But if any of you are considering, a new spirituality, new involvement or in ritual or practice, or even religion, especially to do with your beliefs, or challenging old beliefs, this is a wonderful time to sow seeds of this is what I want my new beliefs to be. This is what I want my new spirituality to be. This is what I want my new dreams. This is what I want to rule in my unconscious. It's almost like you're getting a trapdoor open to your unconscious briefly while these 5 planets are in retrograde, slowing down so that you can plant seeds in your unconscious about where your beliefs reside, and then over the next 6 months be nurturing those, Gemini. So really delve into your dreams, look at what's guiding your unconscious, see if you can make it conscious right now. While these are in retrograde, you sort of have something coming to the surface that is kind of interesting. And what we just passed Beltane, May 1st, which is the opposite of Samhain, which is the traditional time of year, or Halloween, when the veil becomes thin. So consider that the veil between your unconscious world and your conscious world may be very thin right now, and you're getting an opportunity to plant seeds in your unconscious that you may want to develop over the next 6 months to influence your beliefs and plant seeds of what you want your beliefs to be growing over the next 6 months. So Cancer, this new moon is happening in your 11th house of social connections, of friendship, of humanity, of philanthropy, and of innovation, and of science. So Cancer, if you, with all this retrograde motion, you may be having an opportunity to review who you are associating with, who is your community, what is working for you as far as your friends, your outer community, the people you associate with, your social circle, what's working for you there, and or what do you want to include in that? What do you want to add to that? Because new moon in the 11th house says that you have the opportunity to add another level or another dimension, or add some freshness, even change things up in terms of your 11th house partnerships. And 11th house is all about friendships, community, science, innovation, anything that has to do with humanity on the outside, and usually in a very free way. So I'm going to invite you, Cancer, to consider during this new moon over the next 6 months put the intentions out during this new moon of who do you want to be your outer community? Who do you want to be your support network? Who do you want to be your friends? What communities do you want to involve yourself in? Because right now during this new moon, it's a wonderful time to begin those things. And even if it is during this retrograde period with all these planets in retrograde, it's also a good time to reassess your current social setting, your current social circle, your sense of community, and see, really, you might have some insight into what's working for you there or what's not working for you there. And this new moon in Taurus is a good time to set intentions for what you might like to add to it or expand or replace or anything that has to do with bringing new energy into that area of the 11th house. For Leo, this Taurus new moon is happening in your 10th house of career, reputation, status, outward accolades, any achievements. Capricorn has to do, the 10th house has to do, which is guided by Capricorn, has to do with things that you achieve in the outside world. The images of a mountain goat that's climbing the mountain. So when you, Leo, have the new moon in Taurus in your 10th house, what it means is that it may be an opportunity to start a new career, to start a new endeavor that helps you gain status or reputation. So, for example, taking a course that gives you a new degree or a new certificate or something that helps you advance your career. So it could be a really good time, Leo, to ask for a raise or to add something to your career that helps you advance, or the way that you operate in the outside world, something that helps you expand your reputation. You are a fire sign, Leo, and often in feng shui, reputation is guided by fire and the colors red, orange, and yellow, and gold. So I'm going to ask you to focus on those colors during this time, especially in any guided meditations towards advancing your career, your reputation, your status. Right now in this new moon in Taurus is a wonderful time to do that for you, because it's full of both new moon energy, which is planting seeds and adding new things to your 10th house, as well as it's a time of review because there's 5 planets in retrograde. So you can look back and actually learn from your mistakes, or learn from the past of what did work for you and what didn't work for you, what made you feel good in terms of stepping forward in your career or your reputation or your status, the achievements in the outside world, and what didn't work. It's a really good time to reassess that right now, Leo. And what I would say is not necessarily to take action right now, because we are in a Mercury retrograde period, but after May 22nd, you can take action. And also we can look forward to when Mars goes back to direct. That's when things are really going to feel like they're picking up steam. But right now is a really good time to just set intentions and visualize about where you want your career to go. I would like you to use the colors of yellow, orange, red, and gold, anything that has to do with fire, and see yourself in the perfect career. See yourself with all of the diplomas on your wall, with all of the accolades that you would like to see, and surround it with fire. And it's a wonderful visualization that may help you to reignite that passion, that drive, that motivation for things related to your career, to the outside world, towards status and reputation. So have fun with that, Leo. For Virgo, this new moon is happening in your 9th house of travel, of higher learning, of exploration, of various cultures and philosophies. So Virgo, if you were looking to learn something new over the next 6 months, now is a wonderful time to begin it. If you're looking into taking a class that has you compare different philosophies or higher learning, if you wanted to take a class in the Kabbalah, which is all about information or spirituality, that's wonderful 9th house energy. Or if you wanted to begin set intentions for some travel that you wanted to do, this is a great time to do it. I wouldn't say to begin the travel until after May 22nd, until after the retrograde period, but as far as like putting a vision board together of where you might want to go, or dreams of travel that you might want to take, even small trips or long-term abroad trips, new moon in the 9th house is a great energy for that, for setting intentions of where you may want to go or travel over the next 6 months, or classes that you want to take, adding to your higher learning, especially if it's towards earning a secondary degree or above. 9th house rules that. It might be a great time to look for ways to begin that, or be researching, because we have all these planets in retrograde. We've got Mercury in retrograde. Mercury rules Virgo, so especially for you guys, it's not a good time to actually set things in place, but it's a good time to research, review, reassess, rethink about, where it is you want to go, because that's 9th house energy. What information do you want to collect? And where do you show up as the explorer? Because that's 9th house energy. It's very related to Sagittarius. And new moon in 9th house says, where do I want to go? What do I want to learn? It's sort of hungry for experience and information. And since you kind of are ruled by the information god, the messenger god, Mercury, even though things may feel really like wobbly right now because Mercury is in retrograde, this is a wonderful time to set intentions about where you want to go over the next 6 months. And things will start to feel more secure, more like they're rolling forward as Mercury comes out of retrograde on May 22nd, as some of these planets that are in retrograde, because we've got 5 of them right now, as they go forward, you'll gain more momentum. But right now is a wonderful time to set that intention to begin the exploration of where it is you want to go, both in a figurative sense, in terms of studying other cultures or learning new information, or in a literal sense of where you want to visit. So that's new moon in 9th house for Virgo. For Libra, this new moon in Taurus is happening in your 8th house of transformation. The 8th house traditionally represents secrets. Some people call it the sex, death, and taxes house. It's basically all things that are regenerative or under the surface, transformative, things that seem to be faded can happen here, as well as secrets and taboos. So new moon in your 8th house can really give you access to things that have been hidden before. If you're looking to gain insight or gain information, knowledge about something that has been hidden, a secret, a mystery, something that has been taboo or not been revealed, if you set the intention now to gain more information about that, it's possible that you could gain information over the next 6 months. Especially with 5 planets in retrograde right now, Libra, there's a lot of energy towards reassessing things, looking within. I get the sense that you can really transform over the next 6 months, because Scorpio is represented by volcano energy. It's represented by Phoenix energy. If you have been feeling like you've been burnt down to the ground, Phoenix energy is rising up from the ashes. So with the new moon in the 8th house, it can be a time to figuratively rise up from the ashes, to regenerate yourself, as well as to discover things that have been hidden. It's sort of like with these 5 planets in retrograde, things are being rolled back. Curtains that are normally in direct motion are rolling back and slowing down. So with this slowing down movement, you may have some opportunity to really see things clearly, see under the surface into things that have previously been hidden for you. So consider during this new moon in your 8th house, if a new form of sexuality is emerging for you, if a new transformation is emerging for you, if something that has been hidden before is coming out for you, something that has been a secret, a mystery, if there's been something that you've been looking to unlock the puzzle piece on something, or to transform yourself, to regenerate something, all that energy is supported by new moon in your 8th house. So for Scorpio, this new moon is happening in your 7th house of partnership. So it's a wonderful time, Scorpio, to renew your partnerships or begin a new phase within your partnerships. If you're currently in partnership with someone, it could be a good time to start a new chapter with them or new phase of the relationship, to set intentions of how you would like that relationship to go, or how do you envision it to go. And it's a really good time, Scorpio, to go within right now, because there's those 5 planets in retrograde. So it's a good time to review, reassess, reevaluate. You know, things are slowing down, and it can give you a really good insight into what's happening in your partnerships and where you would like to guide things. It's a really good time to be able to make a shift, and especially for you regarding partnerships. Or if you are not currently in a partnership, it's a wonderful time to set an intention of who you would like your partner to be, or who you would like to be within partnership, how you would like to view that happening. And you can watch that develop over the next 6 months. So you can keep nurturing that vision with your ability to connect to deep emotions, Scorpio, and watch that happen. So right now it's a good time to plant a seed for partnership and what you would like to see happen there, how you would like to guide it, and as well as having truth revealed to you in going within, reassessing, reevaluating. All this retrograde energy is giving you insight into what could be happening there. And because everything's slowing down, so you might be able to see more clearly and think about where you want these to go, and watch that develop until we hit the full moon in Taurus, because it gives you time to sort of water that plant and nurture it and watch it grow. So enjoy that partnership energy, Scorpio. Also, you know, one more thing I'll say, Scorpio, is because the Sabian symbol for 17 degrees Taurus is a symbolic battle between swords and torches, I'm going to say regarding partnerships, you may have some dilemma. Some of you may have some of the dilemma between who you think your partner should be, or how you think they should be, versus what really ignites you, what really creates passion for you, what really fires you up. Swords versus torches is the mind element versus the fire element. So what you're thinking versus what is really inspiring you and lighting you on fire and motivating you and giving you excitement and enthusiasm, those two may be at odds. And it would be a good time to explore that and see, you know, do I think this thing about partnerships or my partner or who I want my partner to be, versus what actually turns you on, for lack of a better word, or you know, fires you up. So just a good time to explore that right now, Scorpio. For Sagittarius, this new moon in Taurus is happening in your 6th house of lifestyle, of daily routines, of health, habits, just anything is sort of like the work-a-day, your daily habits and routines. So it's a good time, Sagittarius, to begin a new workout plan, if that's something that, if you're interested in improving your health, or a new way of eating, anything that you do on a consistent day-to-day basis. So any habits, you know, things, lifestyle things that you do every day, any of those are opportunities for change and to instill new habits that you might want to see happen, Sagittarius. So let's see, for Capricorn. Capricorn, this new moon in Taurus is happening in your 5th house of true love, of romance, of creative expression, children, and creative projects. So there may be something new that's entering your life in terms of new person coming in that represents true love, or it might be a good time to begin a creative project, or a project that it facilitates your creative expression. It's a good time now to begin it, and then you may see some progress from it over the course of the next 6 months. It's also a time when you can begin something new in regards to your children. If you, for any of those who are mothers out there, happy Mother's Day. And it also may mean a new child coming into your life. It may mean that you are, taking a new child in, or that you're giving birth to a new child, or you might even be planning for children. Basically anything to do with love, romance, a new true love partner, child, or initiating a project that has to do with creative expression. House 5 generally rules Leo, which is about expressing yourself, being out on stage, being able to hold a spotlight. So if there's something that puts you out on stage, Capricorn, now is a good time to begin that, or begin a project that has to do with that. It's very supported and featured during this new moon in Taurus. So think about, Capricorn, anything that you would like to do that has to do with creative expression, or new children, or new activities if you already have children, new things to do with them, a new phase with them. Or you may also see, something to do with true love. So those are all featured for you over the next 6 months. For Aquarius, this new moon in Taurus is happening in your 4th house of the home. So it may mean that it's a time for you to either change to a new home, or add, do some remodeling, remaking your house new. That would be supported during this time if you wanted to begin a remodel. That would happen between now and the next 6 months or so, until we see the full moon in Taurus. That's definitely supported. Or if you wanted to, say, plant a garden. Taurus rules earth and the ground and everything that comes from the ground. So if you wanted to plant seeds for a garden in your home, or do landscaping, it's perfectly featured time for that, Aquarius. Anything that has to do with newness coming into your home, whether it's someone new entering your home, or a new home itself, or new renovations, planning for things that you might want to do regarding your home, even if it's like redecorating. And also the 4th house represents parents. So it may mean that you become a new parent, or it may have something to do with your parents, a new phase that they're going through, or having them come into the house. However it shows up, it has to do with house, home, parenthood, anything to do with nurturing, or even something as physical as redecorating the house or doing a remodel. All of those are supported right now. If you wanted to make plans for that, Aquarius, right now is a really good time to set your intentions, or perhaps even do a vision board of what you want your home to be like, and then watch that facilitate and grow over the course of the next 6 months. So for Pisces, this new moon in Taurus is happening in your 3rd house of communications. So you may find it's a good time to begin new ways of communicating, or you may develop or acquire a new way to communicate between now and over the next 6 months. If you're looking for a new way to communicate, it's a good time to look into that, to experiment with that, to try that out. If you're looking to start a new language, it's also a good time for that, because it's about communication and something new in communication. Or if you wanted to study the principles of nonviolent communication, this would be a good time to begin that. You may have a new way of relating to others, expressing yourself, communicating. It's also a good time to begin something that has to do with communication in many of its different facets. So like writing would be a good, if you wanted to begin a new story that you're writing, or begin a new novel. Now is a good time to begin that, because it's all about communication. And also artistic pursuits, anything that has to do with dance, painting, music, drama, any artistic endeavor, that's also featured, as long as it has to do with expression and expressing your thoughts, feelings. And you might find a new way of doing that right now, Pisces. That's all very nurtured and supported over the course of the next 6 months. And if there's someone that you've been wanting to communicate with and it hasn't been successful, now may be a good time to try a new approach. You may have some support in a new way of communicating between now and when we see the full moon of Taurus happening. So it's all about communication and self-expression here. For Aries, we see the new moon in Taurus happening in your second house. So it's a good time to envision anything that you might want to acquire. The second house rules assets, possessions, money, values, anything. It's an earth sign in a house that's ruled traditionally by Taurus. So for Aries, you've got Taurus in its home house. Anything that has to do with physical assets or values or money that you want to acquire, it might be a good time to put together a vision board of whatever it is you would like to draw to yourself, what you would like your possessions to be. And between now and the next 6 months, from when this new moon in Taurus goes to the full moon in Taurus, you can see that develop. You can nurture that energy of bringing those things to you or bringing that money to you. Now's a great time to ask for a raise or look at employment that brings you more money. If you wanted to acquire a house or a boat or jewelry or anything that's physical possessions, now is a good time to look into, do some comparative shopping, or just even imagine yourself having the thing. So it's a good time for setting intentions about things that you would like to bring to yourself, money, possessions. And it also applies to abstract things of value too. So if you wanted to be more patient, for example, that's a value. Now would be a good time to set that intention and begin developing that value over now in the next 6 months with the aim at acquiring that by the full moon in Taurus. So anything that you want to draw to you in terms of physical assets, possessions, values, and or money, Aries, wonderful time to set intentions for all of those things. You're definitely supported in those energies between now and the next 6 months. So that is my reading for the new moon for each of the signs. One other note that I will say is that the Sabian symbol for some of this I mentioned in each of your readings, but in case I didn't mention it for your particular sign, Sabian symbol for 17 degrees Taurus, which is what this new moon is at. It's actually at 1640 something, but you always round it up to the next degree for Sabian symbols. And the Sabian symbol for 17 degrees Taurus is a symbolic battle between swords and torches. So what that means is that swords represent the air element, it represents the mental realm, ideas, thoughts, beliefs, anything that has to do with the mind. And torches represent the fire element, so things that have to do with passion, with motivation, enthusiasm, things that set you on fire, things that give you a spark of inspiration. All of that has to do with fire energy. So there may be some dichotomy, some push-pull energy between what you are thinking and what is motivating you, or what is it gives you passion. So for some of you it may show up as, this is what I think I should do, these are what my thoughts are, these are what my beliefs are. And then on the other side is what drives you, what motivates you, what actually sets you on fire. So you may want to think about that or use that as an image to serve you during this new moon, and in which ways swords, which represent control, versus torches, which represent enlightenment. So how is it that you can maybe let go of control and find some enlightenment, or find out what inspires you, what gives you passion and drive and energy, motivation, all that fire energy. So which side are you leaning more towards, the sword side or the torch side, and how can you bring those into balance? So that's my reading for you, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. Also, I just want to remind you, on this Friday, on actually the day of the new moon, on the 6th at 3 p.m. Pacific time, I'm going to be doing a periscope on this new moon and maybe talking about some of the planets in retrograde. So feel free to join me there on Periscope. I'm at the same name, Readings by Gwendolyn, and I look forward to seeing you there. Thanks so much for watching. Yours in the stars. Also, if you'd like to book a reading with me, I'm running a special for the month of May in celebration of the 3,000 subscribers and the 200,000 views. So thank you again, everyone. But I'm going to be taking the month of May to offer a special on my readings. I'm going to take them to $45 instead of $60 for the hour-long readings. And for the half-an-hour-long readings, I'm going to be taking them from $40 down to $25. So if you'd like to take advantage of that special during May, I'll be doing that till May 31st. And there'll be links in the upper corner if you want to book one of those readings. Thank you again so much. I'm really loving doing this channel with you. Yours in the stars.